want to introduce you to the big 5 exercises that I've put together in a specific sequence in order to work your core, but work it based on the system of how your body works during movement. Now that's quite different than traditional ways of looking at back pain, because usually it's by section, which means that we're just addressing the front of your body here, aka the core. But what these 5 exercises do, they're at other parts of your body, but they all affect what happens at your core. And the first area is going to be at the foot ankle, and it's really making your foot ankle move a certain way. The second exercise is going to be for this muscle that you see that's in yellow, and if you see how it's made or how it's placed, it's kind of in a loop. But you can think of it this way. It's like if this were the same muscle, but it actually goes all the way around. And when I work that muscle, then it actually tightens me down. It cinches my hips and this area so that it can generate enough force to create less stress in this area of my body. And that's the second exercise, which is actually for your pelvic floor and this muscle called the transverse abdominis. The third exercise is actually for this area of your body, which will incorporate this yellow balloon that I talked about already. It's going to incorporate your pelvic floor, which I also briefly mentioned. It's going to affect what's called the diaphragm, which is what your lungs sit on top of. And that's found here. And that exercise is called belly breathing. If you're a yogi and you've been doing yoga, you've done some breathing exercises, well, this is an exercise that's going to help stimulate these muscles again to help alleviate your low back pain. The fourth exercise deals with your shoulder blades and how they move, because your shoulder blades, when they're moving properly, they actually engage your core muscles. When they're not moving properly, because of their attachment to both your spine and your hip, well, that's going to create more stress in your spine and at your hip, which is going to affect your low back when your shoulder blades do not move properly. So that's the fourth exercise that you'll do. The fifth exercise is going to be for your glutes, and that is your butt muscle, which would sit right here. And that's important because your glutes, or butt muscle, when it's working properly, it works together with your core muscles. And addition, which is probably even more important, is that when it's working properly, it actually works with the muscle that's deep in your abdominal cavity that actually attaches onto your lumbar spine, and that muscle opposes this muscle. So if your glute's not functioning properly, it means that this muscle that attaches onto your spine is not working properly, which means that this muscle on the back is the only one that's giving support to your spine. And because this muscle creates compression of your vertebrae, well, that's going to cause dysfunction such as stenosis, degeneration of your vertebrae in your disc, herniated disc, bulging disc, depending on how you're moving or what you're doing. At the time, this muscle decides to really engage because your glute's not functioning, which means this muscle deep's not functioning, which means now you have a problem because this guy's functioning, creating stress, strain, and injury. So glute is an important exercise.